Next up in the winners bracket, we've got Desert Planet 2 version 2. If you're ever curious about it, want to get the exact map out of the vault that this takes place on. On the right hand side, we have Blast Shield going first land factory with second air planned after 4 power generators, which is super ambitious, but will be floated by the Hydro that's out there in the front. And then on the left-hand side, we've got Commander Diva, who is going for 2 land factories right off the bat. Hydro claim immediately, and will probably be going, yes, for an air factory off of the Hydro. So talking a little bit about the map, there is a fair bit of reclaim around. You can see that there are 75, so 150, so around 400 total mass right there, another couple hundred over there, and another 300 or so on the south side. So you've got plenty of reclaim to get a lot of stuff online in the earliest portion of the game. However, this is a big map. It's a 10K. It's deceptively large. And so you need a pretty good quantity of units just to hold map control. Therefore, if you go for T2 mexes in the beginning, you're probably gonna have a very bad time indeed. And surprisingly enough, these are not made of water, those are salt flats. So don't think that your units will get constricted in them. So you've got a total of, that's going to be 7 mass extractors right there, with 7 in each expansion, couple more in the middle. Looks like Blast Shield is going to be getting an additional 2 land factories and an air factory off of the Hydro, with various power generators built in between. So that's going to be a total of 3 land, 2 air versus 2 land, 2 air. At least at the start. I'm sure that we'll see many more land factories queued as the game goes on for Commander Diva, but the early production is going to favor Blast Shield. He's already getting a couple of moles out. Those are going to run out to these edges on the map to hopefully gather a little intel on raiding units that are coming through. Also give you a heads up on bombers that are headed your way, both of which can be exceptionally fantastic. This is going to be a commander assist on the engineer to get air factory up more quickly, and then extra power generators. I am a little concerned. I shouldn't be, never mind. There's 79 power advantage there, which is going to zero out on the assist. So what we can determine from this is that Commander Diva actually had a little too much power in his build. Blast Shield, on the other hand, is at plus 67 plus 0. Is building an air factory with flex room in his storage. So he is going to peak just a little bit, but as soon as air production cuts on, then he will be back into the negatory. And he's got just enough extra power overhead to make use of the reclaim that he will be getting. So very close on the build orders, but overall Blast Shield, I think, is going to end up getting ahead. Commander Diva is at 240 power income, both at 15, 260 for Blast Shields, and it looks like that is going to be a 3rd land factory there. So even factory count for both of these guys, and just about even timings for them arriving on the scene. I like the raiding units that were attempted over on this edge. This hunter is fleeing for his freaking life, but you'll notice that Mantis, being the skitteriest of the T1 tanks and also the fastest, skitteriest is an odd word to use as a descriptor, but I guess they do have legs, so that is appropriate. The Mantis is able to keep up with the hunters for a little bit longer than some of the other tanks from other factions would be able to. So the name of the game right now is to get these expansions in hand as quickly as possible. And I have seen varying strategies that go into this. Some of them take transport to initiate. Some of them just involve walking out with engineers, which it appears Commander Diva is doing. And usually the ACU ends up in one or the other of the expansions. And in this particular case, both ACUs have decided on the northern edge to park their commanders. It's going to be 3 more mass extractors claimed, and then an additional land factory or 2 on the outside edge. And of course, the manual reclaim is very important on a map such as this, but interesting turn of events, this radar has just been placed on top of a rock. So when the engineer builds that, the rock will be reclaimed, and you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, only using 1 APM. Sometimes you don't need the highest of APMs, you just need the most efficient of APMs. So we've got 2 air factories online, and have had 2 air factories online for quite some time for Blast Shield, and that is a distinct problem for Commander Diva since he only has 4 interceptors and 1 air factory online, as opposed to 8 interceptors, literally double, with double the production. This is going to get him into a bad spot indeed. I am anticipating a T2 air shift already. God King dropping those other mexes down and building his other stuffs. We've got 3 Mantis in danger from 4 on the left flank, and this is actually going to turn into a very bad time indeed for Commander Diva. He can probably save radar system. Excellent. That is exactly what you needed. Commander Diva should be able to save these engineers alive thanks to the ACU that is nearby, but he is going to lose most of the other engineers on this edge and a lot of his mass extractors. So that's going to slow down his expansion overall. Blast Shield and Commander still running neck and neck, surprisingly enough, 29 and 29, but look at Blast Shield with that power income though, 620 versus 380. And again, I am just waiting for the freaking T2 air shift to happen. I am seeing all signs point in that direction. Interceptors on the ground over here, which is not particularly wise, but I do like the transport that's in play. Diva is using that to get T1 engineers around the map more efficiently. Some more reclaim in the center along with 2 mass extractors that both players are currently headed towards with T1 engineers. So basically, once the raiding is done, you've got to get these reclaimed. And this is a common theme that I see. I just called Blast Shield God King. Whoops, sorry, Blast Shield. It's a common thing that I do see on this map where I casted one many moons ago. It's probably been years ago now, where 2 players were playing on this map and basically they were even. They were running lockstep in their early game. The difference between them was one was using transports and one was not. So as the game progressed, both players were raiding each other to equal effectiveness, but in every single engagement, one player got his expansions back online 2 to 3 times as quickly as his opponent did because he was prepared to drop engineers instead of having to walk there. And I was very impressed with that. So it's nice to see another player taking this philosophy. I don't see a transport yet for Blast Shield, but I would not surprise me 1 iota if a transport did pop into existence in the next little bit. So still continuing that 300 power lead, Blast Shield on top of the scoreboard, also with a 2 mass advantage now that he's raided out a couple of the other mass extractors. Shame to see those go in the center, especially since there was a radar right there. But I do like the raiding. I do like the killing off of this engineer in the center before it can get all of the mass in its mechanical claws. So it looks like Blast Shield is off on an excursion. We'll go take a look-see at where he's queued. That is going to be right into the choke point to cut off access for all of these tanks. Then on the right flank, we do have a bit of a grouping of units, but not anything too spectacular. While we got a little chill moment in the game, Blast Shield is running 27 in mass. Oh dear. So he just finished a T2 Air HQ. He's getting a T2 power generator online, 3 T2 mexes, and is going to be dropping a 4th, I think, to avoid overflowing. Commander Diva on the other side, 51 mass per tick with 1. Hold on, 51 versus 57. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. He's getting a couple more. That's 2, working on his 3rd, so that'll bring him even on mass. And then his power is just failing abysmally, and that's because he's only got 3 engineers on T1Q with nothing going T2. This is going to end up being a bit of a problem for him. I like the initiative on the drop there, but unfortunately Blast Shield's air control is just too strong. As far as map goes, we've got 91 Mantis under the control of Diva versus 38. Oh dear lord. 38 for Blast Shield. Blast Shield is going to have to save himself with gunships because he does not have anywhere near enough land units. Let's take a look at air. That's going to be 32 versus 14. So he's got half the land, double the air, and then vice versa for the other player. This is an interesting game, and I have no idea how this is going to play out. I'm hoping... Let's see, Blast Shield has got his first T2 gunship out. I am hoping that Diva has good enough intel to know that he has such a massive advantage. But I also hope that he goes for extra air power really soon, because he's only got that one air factory still running, and these T2 gunships are going to start causing him major headaches if he's not careful. Blast Shield is building point defense and wall sections all around, which is generally a pretty good response to your base potentially getting trashed by T1 units. That's going to be Commander Diva losing the entirety of his air to Blast Shield, which puts him in a really bad spot. And now there are 4 T2 gunships in total harassing his units. So, observations on directions to go with this. A T2 HQ is online for land. I was about to say, he's worse off for power, so a land T2 would be cheaper in power than an air T2, and that would also provide him with the ability to build flak that he can then send with his units up to the front line and deny all those gunships. And we do see flak producing now. There's a T2 engineer out. Commander Diva is finally balanced on power and mass as we're moving forward. 65 per tick versus 61, so he's actually ahead with 56k reclaim, or 5600 reclaim, sorry, on Blast Shield and 59 on Commander Diva. So both of these guys running neck and neck, each with their own advantages, whether that be land or air, but I am a little nervous about that down there. The biggest thing I think is going to be Blast Shield, who is able to raid pretty much wherever the hell he wants. And also Commander Diva really needs to be building some T1. El Pronto, we've got a T2 factory though. If that can get a flak out, all may be remedied. But those are gonna go directly after mass extractors on that side, I think. Flak is producing out of the land factory, and that is going to catch these units off guard. Look at all the T1 mobile anti-air as well. Interceptors going in after the gunships, leaving these other inties over the T1 air. Oh, the chaos and the carnage. A reminder that Cybran T2 gunships have area of effect, and it is a brutal tool to use against T1 spam. You can see they just disintegrate multiple units at once when they start clumping. And now there's gunships moving into the base, but there is a mobile flak over here that can move up towards the air. This is the problem with mobile flak. It does do the killings, but it is not very fast. Oh, interceptors over flak. Heavy damage on several. This flak needs to move over. There we go. And save that T2 mass extractor alive. Hammering that gunship into the dirt. There it goes. We've now got 6 over on the other edge. 7, 8, 9. Oh dear. Oh dearly, dearly, dear. This is looking a little sketchy. Buddy, you better keep a mobile flak next to your ACU. You better keep 2 mobile flak next to your ACU. There was an attempt at a raid over here, but it is not going to be very effective. And we've also got no mobile flak at all on this side. So the amount of assistance on this air factory is spectacular. That's a lot of production, but it is not going to be enough considering that there are multiple extra air factories on this side in addition to this heavily assisted T2. So what I'm seeing... Oh wow, everyone, literally everyone is betting blast. What I'm seeing is death by air, because these Corsairs are definitely being queued up for an air snipe. Oh dear. Commander losing his entire southern edge to the gunships. So if we calculate this, come on, give me engineers. So So that's going to be 30. So that's about 9 air factories. So that's about 10 air factories total running for Diva, where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on Blast Chilled, that's going to be 10. And then the build power on this is 40. So that's equivalent to 2 additional factories. So that's basically 12 to 10 T1 factories worth of production. So even with all of this assistance here, Commander Diva is still behind in overall production. Once he gets these air factories online, he will be ahead, but I think it's too little too late. Corsairs coming in on the T2 mexes, gunships, tearing apart the build power with extreme prejudice. I think that that is good game. Oh man, that's depressing to see. Commander Diva did so well at the beginning of that. So well at the beginning. But Blast Chilled was able to secure overwhelming air control. The T3 land factory, I feel like, was a bit of a mistake. He should have stuck with T2 and doubled down on air. There was not even... Okay, now there's a T2 land. Fire Beetles! Oh my goodness! You control Cade, and there could have been a Fire Beetle snipe. No! Oh well. We'll save out our hopes for another game. But, yeah. There wasn't even a T2 HQ at the point where the T3 was started, and he knew air was the problem. I just can't see the logic on that one. All of these air factories should have been popping into existence way sooner. Way sooner. All right, well played to both of these guys. Diva especially, the underdog of that story, and damn near coming close to matching Blast Chilled in the early to mid portion of the game. Well done indeed. We're moving up on the end of the losers bracket. This game is going to be between Koiskix and QFWFQ, otherwise known as Thomas. And the map is a new one to me. It is called Occil Wetlands. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's O-C-I-L. Occil Wetlands? It can't be. It has to be a soft C. It is another map that is longer than it is tall, so I can't run the mini-map, unfortunately. On the left-hand side, we've got QFWFQ. He has got, oh my goodness, this is an eco-whoring map to the extreme. You get freaking double hydro. What? All right, this is my new favorite map. I want to play on this one now. Land Factory, Hydro, Land Factory. You've got 6 mass extractors in your core base. And on the north side, we've got much the same thing, but with adjacency. Koiskix is running 2 land factories first, lots of power over to the edge, 2 hydros, which kind of makes me wonder why he needs that much power. And then if he attack moves an engineer to the edge, you've got all these lovely rocks up on the plateau here that you can reclaim with an attack move order. So I am going to bet on both of these players doing that right off. If we look at the rest of our heat map, most of this is going to be in tree clumps, but you'll notice there are 10 mass rocks scattered hither and yon. And this map is going to be critical for map control because for every little node you capture, you get another 8 to 10 mass extractors and 2 additional hydros. This is going to scale so freaking quickly. And it looks like, are there 6 players? No, there's 8. Okay. So it can either be left versus right or top versus bottom, depending on how close you want to be to your opponents. There's water to cut off. We really need to play this map. I am putting this on the list to do next week. We're doing it. Wouldn't be as good for a free-for-all, I don't think. They're not quite far enough apart, but would be very interesting for a 4v4. So looking at how these guys are spreading out, we've already got an air factory online for Koiskix, who is putting up his 3rd land factory as well. It looks like he's got a total of 5, 10, 13 land factories, which is a weird number, but we're not going to think too hard into that. And then over on the left, we do have an air factory up for Thomas as well, in addition to approximately all the land factories. That looks to be about 22 by my reckoning. 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. I was way off, but more than on the right side. So as all this reclaim comes in, as all the mass extractors get taken, these guys are going to be booking it forward with approximately as many land units as you can possibly fit into your unit cap, which is a very specific number, but I am going to say approximate because sometimes I just jumble up the English language into a wad, throw it in the trash can, and then shape it into whatever shape I like afterwards. That is quite the power spam you've got going on there. 4 engineers on power spam with a second and third air factory coming online. That's going to be a pretty impressive air force coming up for Thomas. And then we've got one more land factory over there. Looks like only 1 engineer on the expansion though, which means Koiskix could actually wreck face over there. WFQ is moving up on the southern side to claim his expansion the same way that Koiskix is. And overall, this is just going to be a long, slow and steady expansion routine as both of these players come to grips with the vastness of the amount of mechs on this map, which means that I actually have a few minutes to do some other things, such as queue through and look at the eco and maybe even read chat for a second. Gearhead Brink, a new maps only stream would be cool. The problem with that is that I used to do new map streams all the time and I ran out of new maps that were interesting to play on. So I have one now. I will go dredge through the vault and see if there's some good ones that we can whip out for the next round of Supreme Commander, and hopefully we can do that in the future. Also, Plasma pointing out, yes, that this is an 8-player map, and we can play team games on it. Okay. Let's go set focus army. I love the drops to the north. That is fantastic, getting those engineers out and about to build those hydros. Looks like we've got 71. Okay, we're at 5 minutes into a game, and we're about to break 100 income. 640 power to supply. The power actually can't come online fast enough. Those hydros will hopefully help the situation. So that's going to be 73 on 680 with 1100 reclaim. And then if we go set focus army once again and set it to 1, that is going to give us 53 and 460. So that's going to be a pretty significant economic advantage to the left-hand side. But you've got to also look at the fact that they're both balanced on eco using everything that they can. So the unit count at this point in the game might not actually be that different. Let's go ahead and take a look. We've got 29 mantises. We're going to call it 40 T1 units. And then if we go back over here, we've got 27, so about 35 T1 units. So Koiskix, despite having fewer mass extractors in total, has more units. So later on in the game, he may be presented with an opportunity to get ahead on income. So I like the positioning here. We've got an ACU right over this away that is building mass extractors and is now getting the hell out of Dodge because he sees a lot of units headed his way. And on the south, we've got a group of Mantis and a point defense securing that expansion. So I think overall, Koiskix is going to get his expansion sooner. He's got greater than 50% map control right now, even with the retraction. And Q is going to have to make a choice here as to whether or not he wants to sacrifice the HP on his ACU in order to get this expansion. Looking at the production though, Thomas is rapidly increasing the amount of factories that he has, and that is going to spell doom for Koiskix if he does not at least match the production. I'm going to go ahead and stop the betting. Thomas with 16, Koiskix with 3. Heavy bets out on Thomas. Koiskix is in full retreat now, soaking damage with that ACU, helping out his numbers quite a fair bit. I think that was a little bit of a mistake in micro though. He ended up moving his ACU completely behind the units that he had coming to help him, and in return lost several of the tanks up there. Oh, dearie me. That's a drop into the home base. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's an expansion. Never mind. The home base is up here. So he was going to try and snag this group up this way. He is going to get the drop off. No, that's going to be 5 Mantis out, which are immediately going to wreck all of the engineers in here. Thankfully, oh no, they moved up to the north. I was going to say the land factory will come online, but it got it short by 2 or 3%. That is going to slow down the expansion down here, but there is a transport on hand for Koiskix. He's going to pick up some engineers and drop those down here to reclaim all of that stuff. Gunship on the way. Thomas has already gone for a T2 air shift. Look at the freaking production on this. Holy hell. We got to queue back over and see what it's looking like. We're going to set focus army 0. That's going to be 130 T1 units coming out of 28 factories with 5 air factories. 28, 5, and 120. Oh, hold on. This is going to be a paltry 55 Mantis. Oh dear. Oh dear. Koiskix, I think, just lost. Only 19 factories. And that's going to be 2 air factories. And he's overflowing mass. No! All of that mass, it could have been tanks. It could have been so many other better things. Amazingly, though, Koiskix is actually handling air. And right now, he does have a T2 land HQ online, which Thomas does not have. So the make or break point is going to be whether or not this ACU survives right here, right now. Because it did vet. He's got a little extra regen. He's got a little extra HP. He's building point defense to walk his ACU into. But this is looking sketchy as all hell. You need an overcharge, dude. You could get 6 or 7 units at once. He's pushing up on another veterancy. Thankfully, the terrain is kind of screwing over the Mantis that can shoot at him, and they've now lost their targeting. The point defense is up. It is going to do work. All the units are streaming towards that side to keep the ACU alive, and that is going to be one of the most ridiculous saves I've ever seen. Oh, Corsairs on the commander. No! Get the air out in front. Move! No! He could have saved that. If he would have moved back behind his point defense, he totally had it. Oh, that's depressing. All right, everybody take a deep breath. Press F to pay respects to Koiskix for a valiant effort. Very well played on both sides. That is a disturbing amount of production Thomas was able to get up. Holy hell. So looking at this, I think that if Thomas had been able to start just pounding out T2 support factories to get rhinos to the front, he could have made the difference because he had better than half the map under his control. Good reclaim. He just needed a little more production. He even had freaking air control. Miracle of miracles. He had air control. So I think he could have actually done that. But Thomas, with the just absolutely mind-boggling Mantis spam, was able to take that ACU down with the help of a couple of Corsairs, and that is freaking GG. Wow. Well played on both. That was a good game. That is gonna wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.